Okay, here's our video on finding surface area using nets. Our learning target is students use nets to determine the surface area of three-dimensional figures. Okay, so we're going to just have pictures of nets, and you're going to try to find the surface area of what it would be if we made the three-dimensional shape. Okay, basically it's finding the area of different sides. Make sure you write that down. If you need to pause, go ahead. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to our first example. Okay, in example 1, we're going to use the net to calculate the surface area. So you can see, it's a little hard to see, but I got the blue outline in there of our, well, that's kind of a fat pen. Let me go ahead and shrink those down. Okay. Alright, so we have our blue in there of what we have written. Okay, so here's the outline of the shape down here, and we're going to find the surface area of that shape. Okay, now each square is 1 square centimeter, so we'll know that the area is going to be in squared centimeters. Alright, so basically when I have this and I break this down, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 areas that I need to find. Surface area is going to be that shape broken up and finding those 6 areas. So I need to find those 6 different pieces to find my area. So if I find the area of my first piece, that is 1 by 2. So that's going to be base times height for rectangles. Remember, a rectangle is base times height. So for my first shape, that would be 1 times 2, which is 2. For my second shape, that is 1 by 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 times 4 is 4. For my third shape in the inside here, that's going to be 2 by 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 times 4 is 8. For my fourth shape, that's going to be down here. That would be 1 by 2. So 1 times 2 is 2. For my fifth shape, that's going to be this piece right here. Is going to be 1 by 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 times 4 is 4. And for my sixth shape, I have 2 times 1, 2, 3, 4. So for my sixth shape, that would be 2 times 4, which is 8. Okay, so now that I know the area of each little piece, my 6 different pieces, all I'm going to do with those areas is add them together. That'll tell me my area of the whole piece. So you'll notice this is very similar to a regular figure's area. So I add those up. 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus 2 plus 4 plus 8. When you add those up, you get 28 centimeters squared. That is my surface area of this shape. Okay. Now some of you might be looking at this and realizing that, hey, I have 2 4s here, I have 2 2s, and I have 2 8s. And to get those answers, I did 1 times 4 for those. For my 2s, I did 1 times 2. And for my 8s, I did 2 times 4. So yeah, you'll notice that I doubled up on each of them. 1 is the same as 4. They're both those same flaps that come up on that side. 2 is the same as 5. They're the flaps that come up on the right or left of my base here. And 6 and 3 end up to be the top and bottom, so they're the same size. So yes, you do have shapes that are the same size when you have rectangular prisms like this. Okay, so make sure you write that down. When you are done, you go ahead and pause if you need to. Otherwise, you can move on to the next slide. Alright, in example B, we got to find the surface area of the shape. So again, I have a square in the middle, and then I have my triangles on either side that connect together. Okay? So now when I put this shape together, which actually would not work very well, but when we make this shape together, first I'm going to find the area of the square, and then I got my 4 flaps on the outside. So I'm going to find the area of the square, which is a 2 by 2 square. 2 times 2 is. Then I'm going to find the area of each triangle. Each triangle, my second shape, is 2 and 1 high. Okay, so if I redraw it over here, you can see that this has a length of 2, and that this right here is a length of 1. So a triangle is 1/2 times the length times the base times the height. So half of 2 is 2 times 1 is 1. Okay, half of 2 is 1, 1 times 1 is 1. Find my third shape, you'll notice that it's the same size as my second one, so it's 1/2 times 2 times 1, which is 1. My fourth shape is 1/2 times 2 times 1 again, which is also 1. And then my last shape is 1/2 times 2 times 1, which is 1. So you'll notice that all 4 of those triangles were the same, so I just have the same answer 4 times. And you can recognize those, and you start to use those to help you. So when I add those up, okay, I do 4 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, I get 8. So that is 8 centimeters squared. That is my surface area for B. Okay, so my triangles, remember, my formula for a triangle I had to remember was 1/2 times the base times the height. So that's the difference between my rectangular prism and my triangle there. Look for sides that are the same size. That can help you when you're working on your problem. Okay, if you need to pause, go ahead. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to my last example. In example C, instead of giving you the grid, I just gave you measurements. Okay, so for this one, we're going to have to think about what our different measurements are and how much they are. Okay, so first off, I'm going to start with this right here, 1 and 2. They are the same flaps. Remember I talked about flaps being the same. These are the same. So I'm just going to do a 2 times 2 for those. So for my first and second flaps, it's going to be 2 times 2, 4. Since I have 2 of them, I'm going to write down 4 again because I have 2 of them. Okay? Now, when I look at my flaps here, this flap here and this flap here are going to be the sides. This is going to curl up to be the front. That's going to curl up to be the back. So those two, 3 and 4, are going to be the same. So the area of those are 3 by 2. So I'm going to do 3 times 2, which equals 6. Since I have 2 of them, I'm going to double it. Now this is going to be my bottom and my top. Okay, my bottom's going to be 5. My top, when that curls to the side and then up over the top, those are also going to be the same area. Now 5 and 6 are 3, here's the 3, by 2. There's the 2. So that's going to be also 3 times 2, which is 6. Double it because they're the same. So there, when you start to realize which ones are the same, you always will have in a rectangular prism an opposite one that is the same. Okay? And that's why I can just double those up. Now I just add up those areas, 4 plus 4 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. Okay, that's 32 centimeters squared. And that's my surface area. So the key points from this is to make sure you find the area of each shape, whether it's a square or a triangle, and then add them all together. Okay, so that's your key point. Find the area of each one. Some of them are the same, so some of them you don't have to do work for. You can just write that number again, but you have to find the area for each shape that makes up the solid, and then add those together. Okay, that's it for tonight. If you need to go back and watch anything again, go ahead. Otherwise, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.